So the lights are about to go green. Now the important part, I follow the line on my left. That's exit 2, exit 2. Keep an eye on this black car. What are you doing? Today's video is all about spiral roundabouts. Now I had one of my students who's got tests coming up soon and he was struggling with this roundabout in particular. So I'm going to go over a popular roundabout that's in West London, which is known as the White Hart roundabout. It's got 5 exits in total. And it looks a bit chaotic when you see it at first, but actually, when you look at how it's been designed, it is very cleverly designed and there is an order to things and it's actually quite easy when you break it down. And the thing is, when it comes to roundabouts, when you know what you're doing and how to follow your lane and you do it perfectly, you just need to be alert of others in your surroundings, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So with spiral roundabouts, I'm going to break it down into 2 parts. One is the actual approach, how to know where to position and how to follow your lane just to enter. And then there is what you do when you're in the roundabout. Now, what you're doing in the roundabout, that's the bit that's actually easy because you do that on every roundabout. You count the exits as you're going round and you follow the line on the left-hand side of you, making your way outwards. Now with spiral roundabouts, once you're in that lane, it's so easy. You're simply following that lane and it's guiding you straight towards your exit. So you're not changing lanes as such. The lane is guiding you out the whole time. So we're going to look at the actual approach because that's where people get thrown off. Firstly, make sure you pay close attention to the actual diagram and know exactly where your exit is positioned. So when we look at roundabouts, we look at the diagram and see, wait, is my exit before 12 o'clock? Or after 12 o'clock, or is it at 12 o'clock? The general rule is if your exit is before 12 o'clock or at 12 o'clock, you're going to start in the left-hand lane unless road markings state otherwise. So as soon as your exit is after 12, even if it's 1 o'clock, you start on the right unless road markings are telling you otherwise. And when there's road markings, there's usually a sign. They're going to make it very, very clear. And also pay close attention to the actual signboard and the number of your road. So if I was taking a right turn and it says Northolt A312, when I'm going forward and I'm looking in that right-hand lane, it will say A312. Then as it divides, it will say A312. So road markings are very, very important on approach. Then as you enter the actual roundabout, this is the bit that most people get a bit confused with. When you enter, the road marking is designed in a way for the traffic actually already on the roundabout, so that might throw you off a little bit, but there's usually little dotted lines that guide you into the roundabout, and because this roundabout is so popular, they're usually faded, so you can't really see them, but I am going to point these out to you when we're driving. But what you're trying to do is, imagine that dotted line is a wall. You want to make sure you stay just right of it and you're going to check your left mirror on approach. As you're entering, there's a chance that somebody in the left-hand lane may not see the road marking and they might be straight lining, which is actually your lane, which is why that left mirror is so important. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow that line, check the left mirror and then get into our lane. Once you're in the lane, it's the easy bit. Count the exits, follow the line. But it's the actual approach that we're going to be looking at the most. All right, so let's look at this diagram of White Hart roundabout. Now I want to show you the inside of the roundabout. Now on the inside, at each of these little points, you've got the spiral starting to take effect. Now each of these points, if you imagine you were right next to this section, that's your lane, which is the lane closest to the roundabout. If we just go forward a little bit, you can see that lane kind of splits into 2. As it splits, you generally want to split towards the left because that's how you're going to leave the roundabout. So you check the left mirror, you follow that line. Let's say you've gone into the right-hand lane instead. This is actually a new lane. Okay, it's too hot to sit in the car explaining this. Let's explain this on the go. Let's get started. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you are enjoying watching this content, especially when it comes to roundabouts because everybody tends to struggle with them. And let me know down in the comments if there is a roundabout that you want me to go and check out because you are struggling with it. I will break it down like this, go through various different exits so that you know how to deal with that roundabout perfectly. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, select the bell icon, and let's get moving because it's so hot. Okay, so we have the roundabout diagram on my left-hand side. I'm going to put it on the screen so you guys can see. So I'm taking the 12 o'clock exit, which is Ruislip. Now I know this roundabout inside out, but let's say I did not. The road marking is telling me I need to start in the right-hand lane. Now from knowing the area, I know I can start on the left, but I'm going to go according to road markings because that's what you would do if you're new to an area. So I'm checking the right. I can see it says Ruislip on the floor. I'm in the right-hand lane and I'm going forward. This is a traffic light controlled roundabout, but unfortunately one of the traffic lights have been knocked off recently. So I'm going forward and the light is red, and this is my lane. So my left-hand lane has actually split into two. Now on this here, I'm going to point out the dotted lines because they are faded. There are 3 dots. The first one is very close to me, and the other 2, they're faded, but I'm going to point them out for you. The idea is I need to enter straight and then curve round, checking the left mirror. So I'm going behind the 3rd lane. So the lights are about to go green. All right, let's go. Checking the right because they might not see the lights. I'm going forward, checking the left mirror, going forward, checking the mirror. This is my lane. Exit 1's already gone. Now this is the easy bit. From here, I'm simply following my lane. I'm moving forward. There's a motorbike to my left. I'm going to follow my line. It's already shifted downwards by 1. Now at this point, I can switch to the left, but I'm just going to stay here because I can take the exit from this lane. All right, let's go. Following my lane, signaling left. And as I'm leaving, I'm just going to stay in my lane, check the mirror over towards the left because the 2 lanes are merging. And there we are. So I'm now approaching the roundabout and I'm going to take exit number 4, which is a sharp right turn, and it's headed towards Yedding. Now remember the direction you're headed towards because that's what's going to be written on the floor. So I'm in the right-hand lane for sure. And there's just about enough space for my car. Now I know my exit is all the way to the right, so most likely if my right-hand lane splits, I'm going to keep to the right, and I know it does. So I'm going to keep to the right and signal right because my exit is after 12. So everybody in this lane should essentially be signaling right. Now the roundabout is quite busy, but I can already see the first dotted line, which is just before the yellow box. And in the yellow box, there's 2 more dotted lines, but they are faded. So I'm entering. I can go for that lane, but I don't want to because I know these guys might straight line. And in my lane, it says Ying, which is my exit. Now the important part, I follow the line on my left. That's exit 2, following the line, lights are green, following the line, that's exit 3. Now I'm going to start switching my signal because exit 4 is coming up. Switching my signal, but keeping my position in this lane and simply leaving. Checking the mirrors again as I'm merging with these guys on my left. Now here is where it starts to get interesting. So I'm taking the 3rd exit, which is after 12 o'clock. And you can see on this signboard that it's the exit towards Greenford, B455. Remember that number. So the lane that I'm in will take me to exit 3 and 4. All right, so I'm in the right-hand lane. And I'm going to signal right because it's after 12 again. Now the traffic's quite heavy, so we can't see road markings, but the road marking reads B455 and then the A312. So the exit towards B455 will be first and then the 312. That's why I say it's so cleverly designed. So as I'm going forward, I'm following these little dotted lines on the floor, just like that van in front of me. It's giving me a great little demonstration. And now I'm going to follow my lane, exit 1, exit 2, following my lane, B455 and the A312. I'm going to stop further back because this guy looks like he wants to switch lanes. And then I'm just going to follow my lane, switch my signal. And I think there's a bit of a hold up, so I'm going to be mindful not to get too close. Again, staying in my lane, taking the exit. Checking the left mirror as I'm merging. Now you notice there was actually another lane on my left. That split off from the other one, but again, if you don't know the area, you wouldn't know that. But this time round, you know what? I'm going to take 5th exit, so I'm making a U-turn. So I purposely need to go into that new lane we talked about earlier. Because I want to go into this roundabout and I'm just doing a U-turn straight back here, I want to keep to the rightmost to start. So let's go. Rightmost to start. Signals on. I'm on the right. Now this is again where a lot of learner drivers tend to get a bit confused at first. But let's say I was taking the 4th exit, I would now start to spiral out. But I'm taking the 5th exit, so I can go back in. I've actually got 2 options here, but I'm going to go for the rightmost, which is the new lane, which is on the inside. I'm going to start positioning over here, and I can get through that. These are broken hatch lines, so you are allowed to go over this because that goes into a new lane. Solid lines you would not go over. So again, notice on the inside of the roundabout, the spiral's kind of taking effect again. So at this point, I don't want to go right. I want to keep to the white line on my left, follow it round. Lights are changing. Be really careful with traffic lights on a roundabout like this, because if you start watching traffic, you might miss the lights. So traffic lights are more important here. Okay, so again, following my lane, that is the 4th exit. I'm just gonna follow my lane. Bike has gone across 3 lanes, but just fine. Again, you can switch lanes at this point, or you can maintain this position, signal, and just head out from here, because this does say B455, which is the 5th exit. And let's go, following my lane, keeping an eye on the biker. My lane is obstructed. I'm just gonna hold back. I don't wanna switch over because that could be dangerous. Just checking the mirror. There is a car there and they've backed off, so we've merged. All right, so I'm gonna go back towards the Ruislip exit, which is at 12, but I'm gonna take it from the left lane this time. But this is only because I know the area, that I know that I can be in that lane. If you go according to the road marking, you'd be on the right, as in, you know, someone who's new to the area. So as I'm going forward, my exit is 12 o'clock, so I want to stay with this white line. You can see the middle lane. That's the lane I want to be in. All right, checking my mirrors, moving forward, light is green. So I'm following the dotted lines into lane number 2, checking my left mirror. And again, no signal because my exit is at 12 o'clock. Checking mirrors, following my lane, exit 1, exit 2. Keep an eye on this black car. What are you doing? Gotta be mindful of others, even if that means you go into a sing-song. You always really want to be on the left lane when you're taking an exit anyways, but if your lane does go there, just take the exit from that lane. All right, so now I'm taking the exit towards Heathrow, which is after 12 o'clock, but just after 12. So it's the 3rd exit at 1 o'clock and it's signposted towards the A312. So I know I have to start on the right with a right indicator. So I'm gonna start on the right. I can see the 2 lanes. There's the left, this is the right. Now the right-hand lane is dividing into 2. And if I read the road marking, both of them say A312. I want the first one because that's gonna make it easier on the exit, but you can also be there. Now here we can see the road marking very, very clearly. I simply need to follow the dots, checking my left mirror in case somebody's cutting in, which happens all the time. So I'm just checking my mirrors, moving forward, following this line, checking that left mirror, seeing what this driver's doing, and then following my lane. So exit 1, exit 2 is where the bus is going. My right indicator is very important because it tells these guys I'm keeping right and not leaving. And then there's my exit. And now I'm on the left on the exit and you can see there is another lane that does exit, but then you'd have to switch back later anyways. So what did you think of Whitehall Roundabout? Do you understand how to know which lane to start with and how to follow that lane? Because it really is the actual approach, and when you enter, that's the tricky bit. Once you're in, it's like any other roundabout. Count the exits, follow the line. Miss my own finger, and following the white line on the left hand side to make your way towards your exit. If you guys have enjoyed today's video and found it to be useful, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments if there's any roundabout in particular that you are really struggling with, so I can go through it in a video like this, or even as a short video, and I will do my level best to try and help you understand it as best as possible. If you're new to this channel, select that subscribe button and that bell icon so that you get a notification. But guys, I am open to suggestions. If you guys have any suggestions on videos that you'd like to see on this channel, do let me know because I am listening. And that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching.